Yeah, I'm probably going to be saying this every time I KO a battle card if I play Jiren. So you better hope for your sake that it's not meta relevant, and that if it is, that we don't get paired up, because I'm probably going to be annoying. But with that being said, let's hop in to the Jiren overview. Hey y'all, another day, another 100% archetype breakdown. Today it's going to be Pride Troopers Universe 11, Jiren, however you want to describe it, but it is the Jiren deck, I guess, because it's the Jiren leader. But we're going to hop right into that and yeah, really get that out. Just to let you guys know, on the Patreon, we will be giving this away. This is the top 64 Vegeta. We might have more prizes. We should have more prizes. Actually, no, scratch that. We're going to have more prizing and Gen Con. If everything goes well, I'll be trying to set up a giveaway for the top 32 Goku. But yeah, we're gonna have fun. I'm also posting up my list for Gen Con on the Patreon. So yeah, if that's something you're interested in, just get up in there. We're also giving away 2 copies of Sparking Zero as long as I'm monetized on my UniX DB channel by October, so hop on that. And yeah, besides that, we are going to dive into Jiren, talk about its cards, and then I'm gonna talk about my preliminary gauging of that deck going into set 3. So I hope you're ready. Let's get over to the overview. Okay, so the first card on the list is the leader Jiren. He is just a 15k, super cool art. I think Jiren is cool, that's just me. And then of course attacking, draw a card, awaken at 3 or less life. And as we've said before, you already know what that means. He's going to have a stupid broken effect like Top 2, or he's just a 25k leader like Broly, Zamasu, and Bantadada, Jiren himself. So, looking at his awaken side, permanent, if you have a battle card with 30k power or more, you only take up to 1 damage in each battle. That's very, very, very important, and we're gonna get into why. And then auto, when you take damage, draw a card. So this is gonna be cool. Obviously, this is archetype dependent, because so far, we don't have anything. Like, we would need something to gain life, you know what I mean? If you don't gain life, or you don't have some sort of replacement effect, this effect means nothing. So we're gonna go into it, and there's not really much to put on this side. We have a couple cards that'll give you plus 5k, but really being a 25k leader doesn't exactly mean terribly much more in red than other colors. So we really actually have to get in there and see what this archetype is about. So the first card we're gonna have here is a Master Cog, okay? It's a 4-cost, 30k power Jiren. Automatically right off the bat, you're gonna have to note that 30k was going to trigger or is going to enable the permanent of the Jiren leader of only being able to take 1 damage in each battle. However, activate battle opponent's turn once per turn. If you take one damage, if this card is in rest mode, add the top card of your deck to your life. There's a couple stipulations here, because yes, this card has to be in rest mode. You cannot keep him active and hope that makes him easier to remove in the case of, red minusing power. You have to leave him open to yellow tapping him down. There's a couple things. However, at the very minimum, permanent, this card cannot be KO'd once per turn. So at least by battle, that's going to be a thing where he has a little bit more insurance. But the cool part is, with this interaction, is somebody attacks you and they can get over your 25, right? And you don't want to combo it, because you don't have to, but if you don't want to combo out of it, you can be like, okay, activate battle, I'm going to take 1 damage. That 1 damage is going to cause Jiren's effect to activate, and you're going to draw a card. So you're going to take 1 card from life, 1 card from top of your deck. This card in rest mode is going to take the top card of your deck and put it into your life, meaning that you have no change of life, and then you can't take damage for that battle. So you literally went +2 in hand and didn't take damage. That's a very powerful effect. Now, the downside to this, and this is where we're going to get there, he's very sticky against yellow. We can say that. Being a 4-cost, he can be sickled, he can be he can be sickled, and he can be absolute lightning, and he can be 5-drop Vegeta, and he can be like, there's so many things. This card does not survive versus blue. Blue will look at it and be like, wow, I can't believe they paid 4 energy for that, that's crazy, and then remove it. So that's kind of an issue. Against red, 30k is a little harder to neg to 0, but it still is very, very possible, and so that is something that should be looked at too. Green is going to have a little bit of a harder time. They'll have to try to destroy this guy twice per turn, or destroy him and then swing over him once his once per turn KO'd ability is out of the way. And then you have black, which is a mixed bag, because black could try to destroy it, black could definitely try to swing over it, and you really have to just let that can't be KO'd once per turn thing happen, or combo out of that to make sure that if they try it again, that hurts. But Pan bounces a 4-cost or less, so you can even get this card to be bounced back to hand and shut that off. That is really, really bad to me. Red, blue, and black do not really have a problem getting this guy off the field. And depending on the cards in green, you might not still have a problem getting off the field. There's a new cell that like kind of board wipes, but it bounces things to energy. There's that 7-cost Broly. There's a lot of cards that can circumvent that, and I think that is a massive problem for this deck because, as you will see soon, this is the only card that does this. So I would like that to change. I would like I would love for there to be some sort of like promo card that like can help you get this effect again, because as it stands, you really don't have anything. You don't have anything outside of this card. We need a Jiren card that can't be removed from play once per turn. That's what we really need. So hey, we're gonna keep talking about it. Moving on to the next card. This is one of the promo cards, and it's actually a pretty good promo card. It's 3 cost, 25k power, and then it's got 5,000 combo power. Permanent opponent's turn, it gets plus 5k, making it a 30k on your opponent's turn, which is going to trigger Jiren's effect. It's funny that Jiren triggers Jiren's effect in both cases. And then on play, add the top card of your life to your hand. You're going to need this because you have to get down to 3 life to activate this guy, to awaken this guy. And that means you will need to actually hit him up and take a lot of your own life. Or let your opponent whittle you down. But to be honest, it's kind of weird because, in all honesty, this may not be a deck you want to race. Like, this feels like a control-ish deck. And this may not be a deck you want to race down to 3, because once you hit that, you have to rely on that Jiren 4 cost being available. So hey, you might not even want to, but we will continue. We will continue on. I think that this card is really nice, but it's just, it would have been nicer if it had some sort of deal a damage effect to yourself. Moving on, we're going to start talking about the other Pride Troopers. Speaking of Self-Awakeners, we got Casserole. That's 3 cost, 20k power, 5k combo power. On play, add the top card of your life to your hand, and then play up to 1 battle card with 2 or less in Pride Troopers and the special traits from your hand. This is good. Just like last video where we talked about Deborah into Yakon, this is very much so the same thing. You get a 3-drop Self-Awakener that can move directly into our next card, which is Vuon, which is a 2-drop Self-Awakener. So 2 cost, 15k power, blocker. Actually, to be honest, this is literally Yakon. They literally have the same exact stats, same exact cost, same exact effect. So a little bit of a silly, messy copy and paste, but you understand what they're doing. Actually, yeah, both of these, Casserole and Deborah are the same card, and Vuon are the same card. But the point is, it's very effective. You're going to play a Self-Awakener into a Self-Awakener, and that Self-Awakener is going to have blocker on it, so that's a whole thing right there. 1-2 punch, a little standard, but you gotta have it, especially when the leader's going down to 2. Then, or 3. Then you have Kunshi. Kunshi is going to be a 2 cost, 15k, 10k power, or 10k combo power card. Always good to see those 10ks in the deck. And then on play, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards with a cost of, or with a 25,000 power or less, and it can attack during your opponent's next turn. This is going to be cool. It's going to take certain things off the board. This is actually very nice as well, because red does have its fair share of power dampening. If you have a Whis on the board or anything like that on the board, and you minus something by 5k, and then you play Kunshi, and that 30k now cannot swing the next turn, done deal. I think that's actually a very cool card, and that should be what another card in the set a little later kind of has a kind of just like helps with. But yeah, this really is a cool card in the sense that it's giving red something that it didn't have before. Sure, you may not be able to destroy something or -0, but you can take something out of the game almost completely the following turn. The next Pride Trooper we have is Zoirei. Zoirei is a 1 cost, 15k guy. He's got 5k combo power, permanent. If you have a total of 3 or more cards of Pride Trooper and the special traits amongst your leader and battle cards, this card gains plus 5k power. I don't mean to drag this sort of point and point out, but this is literally Jace. Like, somewhere on my table, there is a Jace. And this is literally, I just want to make sure this is him. Yeah, if you have 3 or more total cards with Ginyu Force in your special traits, yeah, like, this is a literally Jace in another color. So, I would like to see more unique effects, and I know that's easier said than done, but that does kind of make me a little sad. But, for what it's worth, it can get there. Whether it's played, I'm not quite sure if this is the deck where you're going to want to have some 1-drop 20ks, but maybe those do get it through. Sometimes the quantity over quality is a thing. It's going to help it with his green matchups 100%. Then you have this Dispo, and this Dispo is a 1 cost 15k 5k combo power card. When KO, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards and it gets minus 5k power for the turn. I'm not really digging this. Realistically, it's a 15k. They don't have to KO it at any point. It doesn't have a lot of combo value. It's really rough to actually sit here and go, yeah, this card is a threat and it needs to stay. So yeah, or needs to get off the board. So chances are they'll just ignore it until you probably combo with it, or they'll minus it, or they'll bounce it. There's a lot of things this is vulnerable to, and I just don't like that it's on when it's on KO. I would have liked on swing. Next, you have a dispo that we've already talked about. 2 cost, 20k, very good on those stats. 5k, so that's standard. Permanent, if this card be removed from your battle area, you may place 1 card from your life to your drop area instead. I really just wish this said take 1 damage. This would have been so much better if he said take 1 damage, because you would have been able to keep him on board almost infinitely unless your opponent can deal with your Jiren first, and this would have been a wonderful card. That's the only thing that they needed to change to make this good. And then when it comes to its other effect, the when attacking, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with 5k power or less and KO it. That one is honestly kind of rough, because it's going to be good in the first couple turns of the game, and then it's going to drop off horrendously afterwards, and there's nothing you can really do about that. Like, why? Like, you'd have to have some massive power minusing in order to make that efficient. So realistically, I'm just not really vibing this card that much. Unfortunate. I think it just could have been worded slightly different. It would have been so good. Now, we also have this card, Kai, literally a Kai named Kai, but he's just a top 5 searcher for Pride Troopers, which is what this deck desperately needs to pull it all together. And then just before, we have another SR, right? And this SR is Topo. I'm mixed on this because I think Topo is good, but I just don't think Topo is that great in terms of Pride Troopers. When KO, draw 2 cards, and that doubles down on the weakness that it already has. Black can bounce them with Pan, and Pan should be staple. Blue has a plethora of ways. 25 is not as hard to neg down to 0 as other numbers, as 30k. This just has the same weaknesses that Jiren does, except it's not as good of a card as Jiren, and that really does kind of hurt me. When attacking, discard a card from your hand. You don't have to pay that cost, but if you do, you can pop something with 25k power or less. That's pretty cool. But like, yeah, I think that this card doesn't really add on to the Universe 11 theme, and yeah, that's just kind of a problem for me. But that being said, let's go over to the sponsor message real quick, and then we will be right back. Alright y'all, taking a quick moment to shout out the sponsors for this video. First up is Mystic TCG, a store based in Missouri that sells all sorts of TCG product, even more than what you see featured here on this page. They also buy singles, collections, and prize cards, so make sure you actually catch them out in their store in Missouri at an event, or even on their Facebook, just to be able to see the events here, but also ask them what they're up to and what they're looking for in terms of vending. You can also use the code UNIXTCG to get discounts off your pre-orders as well as orders, so make sure you get your TCG product while it's hot. Then you have Eclipse Cards and Hobby based out of Texas, and if that sounds familiar, they did sponsor me with a box of Fusion World Set 1. But as you can see on this page, there is a plethora of TCG products that they are actually having for sale at their establishment. You can also even buy things that aren't just TCG products. As you can see on the screen right here, they hold their own locals, they hold their own events, and they are going out to more and more events. You can actually check their Facebook to see their schedule, as well as call and ask about their vending list. And at the checkout for their website, you can use the code UNI10X to actually get percentages off your pre-orders or your orders. So go check it out as well. And we're always up to all sorts of things in Universe X, so you can go down the description and check the link tree to find out about my other channels, my Twitch, or any other avenues that I'm creating content on. But if you want to go the extra mile, you can always go down to any description on any video and find my Amazon affiliate links. These products here will differ from video to video to cater to the audience in question, but it's just very easy to see something that you may like or be interested in, open it up, and choose the style and or color that'll work for you. All proceeds will give kickbacks to the channel, so it'll be some direct support, and I'll always appreciate the help from you guys. So with that being said, let's get back to the video. As per usual, 2 cool stores, always doing the cool things. Check them out in the description. If you really want to show some extra love, try to jump into one of my streams or UniXDB, check out what that channel's about. But let's get back into the coverage and finish this up. So looking over at this, what you have here is Margarita, and Margarita is pretty cool. We liked Harumaki and Trunks, we liked Bulma and Vegeta. This is like almost the same, but you can't target your leader. However, this can target itself, which is pretty cool, but it's just a 20k swinging combo value, and that's going to be strong in the aggressive deck. The less cards you have to use in hand, the better. Keep them for defense or whatever. Now, we're going to move over to Double Cannon Maxim. This is one of the cards I actually am really, really high on. Activate battle, choose your leader or up to one of your battle cards against plus 15k power for the battle. Then if you have 3 or more cards with Pride Troopers and their special traits amongst your leader and battle cards, your leader gains plus 5k power for the turn. That means you can make your Jiren leader a 30k for the turn as long as you have 2 Pride Troopers on board. And while this is super simple, I cannot stress hard enough how much I like that. With 2 of them in hand, you can stop 2 attacks, but also low-key boost your guy up to 35. This is just a good card. Next, we have a terror on the scene. This is Sphere of Destruction. Activate main, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, the cost of 25k power or less, and KO it. Then if your opponent is at 4 life or more, damage it. Deal 1 damage to your opponent. This is crazy. This is going to allow you to be very passive, sit back, not even have to hammer at your opponent's life, get rid of their board while dealing damage. This card will change how red is fundamentally played because it's going to allow you to low-key just focus on building up your board, not exposing certain cards to harm's way. And then once your opponent's at 4, start turning everything sideways. This card is going to change red, and I think it could be on the borderline of being too strong, but I actually really love it at the same time. We're gonna have to test it out because it's not a body, it's not adding a body that can go sideways multiple turns, but it is making unavoidable damage. Now the thing is, if you're not turning cards sideways, your opponent isn't getting into the combo step, but at the same time as them not getting the combo step, they were probably going to take those first 4 damage anyway. So just dealing it unavoidably and then not having the ability for them to attack your battle cards, they have to attack you. You're going to force yourself to awaken while you're blowing up stuff with this. This is going to change the tempo up a little bit. Next, we have It's Over, or better yet, OWARI. And that just says 2 cost, activate main. If you have a battle card with 30,000 power or more, choose all of your opponent's battle cards with 25k power or less and KO them. This is a mirror breaker. This is going to snap. Like, imagine just getting rid of your opponent's 3-drop Vegeta and then just playing this and just blowing up the rest of the board. This is actually a really, really good card, and I think a lot of people are not on it like they should be, but this is control to the max. I like this card. Now, you have this next card, which is kind of a little funky. Greatest showdown of all time. It's a 5 cost. Activate main, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards that gains minus 20,000 power for the turn. Then play up to 1 battle card with a cost of 4 or less in universe and special traits from your hand. This could cheat out Kefla if you wanted to. This can cheat out the Jiren SR that you've seen before. But what this also is going to cheat out is the Goku secret rare. And that's going to be the funniest part about it. You minus something by 20k, then you cheat out the Goku secret rare, minus it by another 15, and it's either going to die if it's 35k or less, which is very likely, or you're going to soften it up to like 5,000 and then attack it and then deal them 1 damage. Either way, there's a lot you can do with this card, and I think that's pretty cool. And then the last card we're going to have on our list before we talk about how we like or dislike this card is Son Goku. It's just a normal uncommon in this set, but it says on attacking, if there's a battle card with 30k power or more, draw 1 card. This is cool because this deck resolves around having those cards, and you can probably fit some more cards into there. But that being said, playing something like a Margarita, and then Margarita actually putting a 10k power buff on top of a card is going to allow this guy to swing and do its thing. So that happens, and you'll be able to press this, draw a card, which is important because once you flip over his Jiren, you stop drawing cards. So with that being said, that is kind of where this ends up lying in terms of how you can maybe get some more cards. I can see this being a pretty good card in red in general, just for, you know, extra draws while it being pressure. It's gonna go crazy in U7 Goku, I'll tell you that right now. But that is a topic for another time. We start revisiting decks. So with that being said, let us go into the closing and my thoughts on this deck in general. So overall, when I think about this deck, my main issues are its blaring weakness to blue. I don't see how this deck functions against blue. They can turn off Jiren whenever they want to. They can get around Topo. They can wreck your board. And they have a better late game than you do in these cases. So that really doesn't really stick with me well. When it comes to these other colors, I think against yellow it'll do fine, very fine. I think in the red mirror it actually should be very, 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 very good. I think that this is going to work wonders in the red mirror, taking over a control spot. Like, it'll share the control platform with Beerus. I think that against green it might actually have some legs. There's some things in here that you'll be able to force green down on life, and they can't just like protect themselves and get out of it, and then you can start trying to aggress them. I like that a lot. Black up in the air. I think black has tools to get around Jiren and then start hammering you with unavoidable high comboing attacks. Honestly, I wish there was another card that had Jiren's effect. We need more cards that allow you to take damage, and maybe that won't come until next set, but Jiren needs a bit more for me to consider it auto meta worthy. I think this is going to have some games, but like I said, I just think that expecting not to face blue an entire run or only once, that's a pipe dream come set 3, I think. I don't think that you can avoid playing against blue. And so with that being said, I think that Jiren isn't as cool as I wanted him to be because he doesn't have the tools to withstand all the colors. And it's just not, it's one thing when you have one bad matchup. I'm okay with that. But when you have a gaping weakness to blue, when black has cards that can get under your main strategy, when red has a way to minus things to 0 to get around your main strategy, and all you're really sitting looking at is yellow and green is your best matchups, with green also having cards that out your main card, that's just rough for me. So let me know what you guys think in the description. Let me know. I will be very, very happy to respond to all these comments. Thank you guys for the support you guys have been giving. And tomorrow we will move on to another one. Maybe you guys can even choose. I have one in mind, but if I see enough feedback, I will pivot to that one instead because I've been looking at all these cards. Thank you, and I will see you guys in the next video. Later.